Today we're going to look at Neu Morphic Design and how to build some of the fundamental elements of this sleek minimalist system inside of Davinci Resolve. I'm also really excited to announce the very first Frame and Blade Design Elements pack, which is available now on the store. It's a very easy to use set of 7 Neu Morphic elements. Each element is a single drag and drop node that gives you access to the most important controls, making it easy to get a multitude of different looks. You can even stack multiple elements to create complex and sophisticated designs. So let's have a look at our first element, the push-in shape. Alright, so I've just got a blue background going into a merge and then a media out set up in here already. So let's get straight into it and grab another background and a rectangular mask. And this mask is really going to be the foundation for our whole shape. Everything is going to be dictated by this one mask. And the reason I'm going to do it like that is so that then later on you can control the entire shape from just this one node. Cool, so this one can go into another merge, and then we'll grab another background and we'll take a feed off this one, so we're just leapfrogging. You could go straight from this rectangle like that. You could do it like that as well, that works just as well. But we're going to do it like that. Okay, and then this one can go into this second merge, and let's just join that in. We'll just go back to our rectangle briefly and we'll add a little bit of corner radius, and let's just bring it up in size a little bit as well. That's good. Now this next one, we're going to change the colour of this. This is going to be the colour of the bottom of the pushed in shape. So we just want like quite a light grey colour in there. Okay, so next we're going to start making our shadows inside the shape. So we want another background, and we'll take a feed off this one into there, and then that can go into a drop shadow. Then we'll add another merge in here, and this drop shadow can go into the green input of that one. Let's just get these out of the way. Okay, so at the moment this doesn't at all look right because we've got the drop shadow on the outside. So what we need to do is come into this background 4, go into the settings and just tick apply mask inverted. And now it still doesn't look right because this black background you can see is now on the outside of the shape. So easy fix for that, we take another feed from here and that goes into this merge 3 here, and that just solves that problem for us. So we'll just set up this shadow a little bit more, add a bit more of a blur, something like that. Do this to taste. Then what we'll do is select all 3 of these and just copy and paste them. Let's just plug this in here. Now take another feed into the background and into the merge, and then this drop shadow we're going to change to white and change the drop angle so that it's in the opposite corner like that. There we go, and now you can start to see the pushed in shape emerge. Now we can add some extra little details to this. What I like to do is after this last merge put a blur in there, and you can just add like a subtle blur to the edges, you know, like this. Anything between like 0 and 5 works pretty well. So let's just set that at 1.5 for now. And then you can also add like a transform in there so that you can manipulate the shape very easily from there. And then finally, to really make this work with other elements that you can add into your composition, we're going to add another merge at the bottom here. The first merge will set the apply mode to multiply, and then the second merge will set the apply mode to overlay. And that then blends this whole shape into whatever you've got in the background. So if I change the color of the background, the whole thing will change color as well. If I add like text in there or other shapes, you'll get this nice kind of blending going on. And then, oh, finally, what I also like to add to this one, on this, where there's this sort of light edge, I find it looks really nice if you just add a drop shadow in there. I'll show you what I mean. But just keep it really subtle. Like, this whole design system really is about subtlety. So we'll just put a drop shadow in there. Now take the blur right up. Let's just get the angle right, and then take the shadow strength right down, like almost so that you can hardly see it. You want it so that when you first look at it you wouldn't notice it, but if I turn that off you can see the difference that it makes, and it just helps to sort of define this edge here. So that's that shape. And what we're going to do actually to make the next shape is we can reuse a lot of what we've just built. So the next shape we're going to build is the pop out shape. We can just get rid of these on the end here, and for the moment I'll just turn that drop shadow off, but we'll come back to that in a little bit. Then what we're going to do is we'll add in a background and a transform, and then also a blur node underneath that. They can all go into a merge. Then what we want to do actually is I want this background to stay in the yellow input, so we'll pop that in there, that can go into there, and this one can go in here. And then we'll take another feed off this original rectangle and take that into this background here. Now if we use the transform just to shift the shape a little bit like this, then in the background we'll change the color to white, and we'll add a little bit of a blur to that. Then what we'll do is we'll grab all of these, we'll copy and paste them, take another feed off the rectangle into that background, and then let's just fit this in here. We're getting a little bit cramped up here. That's cool. And I actually want to swap the inputs of these around, so if you select the merge and just press Command and T, that swaps which one is which. So for this one we'll change the background to like a fairly dark black, not completely black, but fairly dark black, and then use the transform to shift that over this way, like this. Now you could obviously do all of this with just backgrounds and a drop shadow instead of these transforms and blur nodes, but the thing that I like about doing it this way is you can have quite a lot more control, and it's quite important to be quite precise with the control of the placement of these. So let me show you what I mean. If I go into this transform and uncheck the use size and aspect, now I can adjust the horizontal or the vertical axis separately. So what I want to do is, see, at the moment they're sticking out about the same amount either side, but I want it to really kind of like extend further this way. So we can just take the X size up a little bit. Let's try 0.2, something like that, and just scoot that over, something a bit more like that. And then let's come back into the background and just take that down a little bit. As you can see, you just need to just kind of like fine tune it a little bit. It's worth spending a bit of time doing this though, because that's how you get really good looking results. Okay, so that's looking good for the edges. Now let's sort out this middle part. We've got this background here. Actually just going to lighten that by quite a lot. And in fact what you could do, what also looks quite nice for this shape, is if you make that a gradient, and a linear gradient, grab these little arms like this and move it to like a diagonal like this, and then change the black to just like a really kind of light grey, and then change the white to an even lighter grey, something like that, and it just gives it like a bit more of a kind of dynamic shape to it. There we go. Keep it really subtle though. This whole thing, I can't stress enough, like the thing that makes it work is subtlety. So let's come back to this drop shadow. If I turn that on, see now it kind of looks like it pops in on the inside, but I'm just going to go more subtle with that, so something like that, just to give it a bit more of an interesting look. And that's pretty much our finished shape there. Now this works really well for the system, but the big drawback here is obviously you've got like a whole ton of nodes just for this one shape, and if you was to start building out a complex scene with lots of different shapes, it's going to start getting messy pretty quickly. And that's kind of exactly why I made the design elements pack, because it sort of solves that problem and also puts all of the controls that you need in one place. So by comparison, I can grab the same pop out shape and it's just one node. So if I just pop that in there, and they've got the exact same thing but just with one node, and all the controls that you need are just right there. You don't have to go searching through lots of different nodes and stuff to try and find the exact thing that you need. Cool, so there we go. Hope you find that useful, and go and buy my pack.